has made a lot of mistakes as well, for which we do, hopefully. Not everyone does. But yeah, I'd say like perhaps I'm where I am at right now in my confidence and my ability to navigate socially, in my openness to engaging and experiencing life in a very active way, especially driven because of my background experiences and lessons I've learned along the way, which I think makes I was going to ask you, for example, because you were saying you're definitely a people person, and let me give you my answer first. But the question I was going to ask you is, why do you love interacting and trying to be positive with people and engaging that way, aside from the fact you're an extrovert?
Well, I was bullied a lot in school, and I didn't really have any friends until I kind of came into my own when I was in my early 20s. I'm almost 29 now.
You don't say.
Yeah.
You worked very well.
Thank you.
Holy crap.
Once I met a girl, one of my best friends,
Sure.
and she was always very talkative and bubbly, and I found I could be myself around her, and I spent almost every day with her for a long time, and I just kind of fed off that, and then realized like, oh, I'm actually funny. People enjoy what I'm saying now. And then when I got confident in that, I realized that I could have that effect on somebody else, and that made me so much happier, creating some happiness for somebody else. And it's such a great feeling, and I feel like I can charm the pants off of anybody, but it's not charm, it's genuine.
Meaningful connection.
I love talking to people. You meet somebody new every day. When I was just with my two friends, we spent the last 3 hours walking around Eau Claire looking at the different people, went to a skate park. It's very entertaining. There's so much to learn from other people.
Sure.
Yeah, I love it.
That's a good answer.
I'm in school, so I didn't go to university since I was in high school. I took about 7 or 8 years to kind of get some life experience. Had some things I went through, hard times, a lot of good times, but I've grown as a person. So now I'm going into accounting, which a lot of people thinks it's kind of
speed and red light camera in 300 meters.
It's actually a lot of problem solving and
50 kilometers per hour.
And you're always doing something different. You're not necessarily always in an office. You go and help people create companies and help families do their taxes, and I find that a very social thing that I didn't think existed within accounting.
Nice.
Yeah.
You arrived at a destination that I did not. And since then I've seen that vantage point where accountants, if they're skilled socially, can make a lot of sense out of a lot of nonsense for people in general.
Absolutely.
Yes.
How long have you been doing this?
1.5 years.
What were you doing before?
I was teaching English. My first degree was actually, funny enough, in accounting. And at that point I was like, yeah, this is not a good fit for me.
Yeah, it's not for everybody, no.
So that's what I love, is that there's these different expressions that we resonate with.
Yeah.
And there are different ways in which we can engage it really well, so that we do the skill in a way that adds value to other sides, right? And I find that really cool. Yes, that was my first degree.
Oh my goodness.
Once upon a time.
How many degrees do you have?
Okay, so I started in accounting, then went to sciences.
Yeah.
And then I knew I didn't enjoy science even before I got into it, but I said, I'm driven by the end result, which is medicine. I thought I could probably have a place in medicine. At the end of that degree is when I realized, holy crap, this is not reflective, because it didn't turn out to be what I thought it was.
The medicine?
Being a doctor.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
they're
you have
a lot
your
more.
Doctorate?
No. I stopped before I went for my MCAT.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
at the end of that degree. Because you finish your degree first, then you challenge the medical examination, which is called your MCAT, and then you get into med school, and then you get into residency after for a few more years. Yeah, it's a very long process.
Jeez.
So then I pivoted from there to English and philosophy, and I said, I found it. And the whole arts area, I was just like enthralled.
English was my favorite subject. I love reading.
It's not easily accessible one for everyone, so it's very
It's
difficult.
a hard job to find.
I think the hardest part about it, Kerri, is the element of expressing the internal externally. That is the biggest challenge I find most people have. And yet,
Speed and red light camera in 300 meters.
That's a very,
Speed limit
very
is
good
50
about it even further, it's I think what people struggle with socially in the very first place. Because even in your coming out and saying, here's who I really am, you first of all had to figure out who you were inside. You've had to go through some experiences that enabled you to have a bearing on, okay, here's what I stand for, here's what my non-negotiables are, here's what I value in life. And then when you're able to ascertain all those elements, then you're able to say, okay, here's my trajectory, and here's where I'm willing to now express the internal externally, so that others can have a peek into it and then have a piece of who you are and then enjoy you.
You like to read, don't you?
I do.
What do you like to read?
I enjoy reading a lot of psychology now, psychology books. I enjoy reading history. Oh, I love history. Biographies. Oh my goodness, yes. Yes, please. I don't really care for scientific journals anymore. I never did, actually.
Have you ever read Chuck Palahniuk?
No, I've never heard of him.
So Chuck Palahniuk, he is the director and author of Fight Club.
Okay.
His books are out there.
Okay.
They're extremely creative, little edgy.
Yeah.
There's some, pornographic and swearing, but it's all. He's got a book about hell that describes what it looks like, what it feels like. There's one. There's one that I'm just about to read. It's called Invisible Monsters. It's people who find these sex toys that give you magic powers.
Oh, interesting. What a fascinating concept.
It's a very interesting collection of books. So if you're ever looking for something a little bit different, I would highly recommend him.
Let me suggest another image for you.
Okay.
Speaking of images, I would say what we do in our skill set is we make love to people's minds.
Oh my God,
do you know what I'm saying? And basically, I would say that's probably a good barometer for you in your future considerations of your partners. How able are they to tap into your inner psyche in a way that makes you feel safe?
Intimacy is,
Absolutely.
right? Intimacy isn't just necessarily a physical feeling. It's a connection that you have with somebody and their personality and their thoughts.
Now, this is not my idea here. I borrowed this one from a dear friend of mine. So they described intimacy as into me see intimacy.
Into me I see.
Intimacy.
Okay.
So kind of a play on that word, intimacy. Intimacy. Do you really see the really me?
Yes.
Because that's when you're getting a little closer
That's a
to
good way of breaking it down.
I think so too. I found that really helpful.
Yeah, I like that. You should write a book. You should.
Thank you. Let me ask you on another plane here.
Okay.
Please, I'm gonna make a proposal. I value a no answer just as much as I do a yes answer, which for me entails that sense of we're on the same page. If you like the idea or not.
Okay.
When I don't drive my Uber, I do a lot of content online in relation to the theme of how can we connect really meaningfully with those we have opportunity to connect with. I love modeling what that looks like as well as talking about it because I kind of feel passionate about it.
You want to go into here?
On this one here, thank you, dear. When, there are some rides that I do come across where I'm like, oh, I would love to be able to share this with my followers. I only do that if I have permission though, and that's why I say not everyone's jam is to do this. Would you love to? Okay. Again, that my followers know consent for me is like non-negotiable. It's like,
of course.
And so that's why I ask and say,
so respectable about it. I would be honored, honestly.
Sweet.
I would love to stay in touch.
Okay.
You are quite the man.
This is what I say is a video consent form, just for the legal purposes. Just have a quick peek at that one there and see if you're game for it. And like I say, I'll leave you with my card so you can find ways to keep in touch along the way.
Sure.
29, eh? I would have totally said like more like 22 at the latest or something along those lines.
Moisturizer.
Is that what it is?
Yep. Yeah, my mother is a very vain woman. I don't talk to her anymore, but she told me how to take care of my image, that's for sure.
Noted.
So explain to me what you do.
Okay, so I post videos on the internet usually of myself answering questions to my followers, but I also love modeling. My followers love to see how I connect with people, the kind of conversations I have, the kind of ways that I generate conversation, express interest, all those elements that a lot of people are really struggling with today.
Okay.
And so what I would be doing with Our Time, the video of Our Time, I'd be doing something along the lines of posting it on YouTube, on my channel on YouTube. You'll be able to see what I do there. This is it right here. Awesome.
So,
and then I'm on TikTok as well. And so
I don't have TikTok. You have Instagram?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Excellent. That's what I like to hear. So what do you use the address for? Do you mail things?
The address? Oh, it's just a way. This is the legal format of saying not only did I get like verbal consent, but also they understood what they were signing up for.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah. And feel free to take a picture of it as well, too.
I probably will. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So is your family in Calgary?
Yes. I'm saying that I grew up in BC. My dad's still in BC.
Okay.
I have 2 brothers in Vancouver.
Okay.
And then I have, and I'll just pause now because dynamics have recently changed. My baby sister came out to live with me like 2 weeks ago, which is fantastic and exciting. I know. My sister who lives here with her boyfriend, she and I have been working on the youngest one to say, come out here, this is the place to be. And so she's finally moved out and it's very exciting. And this is her first time on her own. She just graduated high school last year.
That's very
So it's a big deal. It's a huge deal. And then, are you ready for today's dad joke?
Oh, always.
Okay. I thought my roommate was joking when he said Gary Oldman was in the Harry Potter movies. I don't know who Gary Oldman is.
Say it again?
But I thought my roommate